Namaskaram. Mahabharatam. We are going to start the Udyoga Parvam, it is called. Udyoga means attempt, efforts. Efforts for peace, and then when it fails, for war. The war preparations. That is the topic of this main Parvam, the fifth major Parvam of Mahabharata. We had said that the Pandavas successfully completed the 1 year of their hiding Ajnatavasam in the Matsya kingdom in Virata's palace. And towards the end there was war with the Kauravas who came to take away Virata's cattle wealth. They were all defeated and the cattle were released. And Uttara was married to Abhimanyu, and for the wedding all the Pandavas' friends, allies, were invited. That included Krishna and Balarama with their father Vasudeva, and the king of Panchala, which is Drupada. They were all invited. So after the wedding, they were all seated in the assembly hall. Then Krishna raised the topic. Krishna said that just summarized where they are, in the sense the Pandavas lost their land through the game of dice, where Yudhishthira was cheated by Shaguni. Everybody agrees. It is put differently. The Pandavas say that he was cheated. The Kaurava side agree that Shaguni was a clever player. If there was sleight of hand, cheating, then it was Yudhishthira's duty to find it out and point it out, which he didn't. He wasn't good enough for that. That was their stand. So Krishna mentioned that Yudhishthira was cheated, and yet they did the 12 years of stay in the forest, and then subsequent 1 year incognito, in hiding, which they successfully completed. Now they have fulfilled their part of the bet, and hence they deserve their ancestral land back, their share of the ancestral land. That was what Krishna said. Then Balarama, Krishna's elder brother. Balarama is often simply spoken as Rama. He spoke. He, like Krishna, he was fair to both Pandavas and Kauravas, but as Krishna had a soft corner towards the Pandavas, Rama had a soft corner to Duryodhana because he was his disciple in club fighting. Duryodhana was the favorite disciple of Balarama. So Balarama spoke, saying that the Pandavas unfortunately lost their share of kingdom through dice. He didn't say that they were cheated. he said that we should negotiate for peace with Duryodhana, but whoever goes should speak gently, softly to Duryodhana, because the entire kingdom is in the possession of Duryodhana now. Don't make him angry, because then he will not yield to anything. He repeated that it was not Duryodhana's fault if Yudhishthira wasn't clever enough to play against Shakuni. He didn't have to play himself. He could depute someone who was good at the game. But Yudhishthira played because he was interested to play himself. He was attracted. That's not the fault of the Kauravas. So Balarama said, approach Duryodhana with gentle words. But Satyaki, who was another prominent Yadava chief, he was a distant relation of Krishna and Rama. He was also a very powerful warrior. Satyaki appears again and again during the Mahabharata war. Satyaki said Satyaki didn't like Rama's words. He pointed out that the Kauravas, Duryodhana knew that Yudhishthira had a weakness for the game of dice. He exploited that and engaged Shakuni. He was a clever player, capable of sleight of hand to any extent. Yudhishthira didn't go asking for a game. He was elsewhere, and they sent requesting Yudhishthira to come and play. So he was drawn into it. And they lost, and the terms of the game, 12 years and 1 year, that the Pandavas observed to the very letter. Now they are back, and they deserve their share of half the kingdom. So Satyaki said there is no need to be soft with Duryodhana. We should demand. If he doesn't give, then Satyaki said, I will fight for the Pandavas. I will win over them all. Kill whoever is on the opposite side. Win the land and offer it to Yudhishthira. Satyaki was, of course, he was a very powerful warrior. And he was confident enough to win the war single-handedly. And after Satyaki spoke, Drupada, that is the Panchala king, he warned against making a soft approach to Duryodhana. He himself thought it is not correct. Because Duryodhana will take it as a weakness on our side, that we are not strong enough to face them. So that impression shouldn't be given. We should be strong when we deal with Duryodhana. Drupada was sure that Duryodhana will be very reluctant to give back the Pandavas' fair share of the kingdom. So, while we try to negotiate for peace, that is, negotiate for the rightful kingdom, we should start preparing for war. And that is, we should send emissaries to all the kings, requesting their help. That was a very wise suggestion by Drupada. The practice was that all the kings, so to say, are normally waiting for an opportunity to show their strength, the strength of each of them as warrior and the strength of their army, because that is the thing for which they have an army, and they are training them, keeping ready to fight. So an actual fight is what they are looking for. Apparently is true these days also. The army will create opportunities, so to say, for an engagement. And Drupada lists the name of nearly 100 kings, 80 plus, 86 or so I counted, who should be approached. These names appear repeatedly during the war, so it helps to remember the names, but I find it very difficult. Anyway, I haven't listed the names now. When the actual war starts, when any of them are actively fighting, at that time we shall mention the name. So that's what Drupada said. Krishna applauded Drupada's words because Drupada spoke very wisely. Drupada is respected by both Kauravas and Pandavas alike. So, if Drupada sends an emissary, normally it is the family priest. Then he will find favorable response from the Kaurava also. So that is what Krishna suggested. And Krishna said we should do this sending an emissary, a priest, to the Kauravas first and wait for the result. But Drupada said that is not wise, because the practice is to offer help to the first person approaching, irrespective of whether he is closer or not. That is the honorable way to deal in war. And Drupada was sure that Duryodhana would have already started sending emissaries for help. So we shouldn't delay, we should also immediately start that process. Then Krishna suggested that Drupada's priest should be sent. He is a very wise person, so it is important. Then Drupada spoke to his priest, highlighting his learning and wisdom and requesting him to take up the task of speaking to Duryodhana. And Drupada's priest agreed to that, and he started towards Hastinapura with his disciples. The normally teachers during that time who always had some disciples with them wherever they went. They might visit different places for different reasons. They took their disciples with them, and that's an occasion for the teacher to impart knowledge which is relevant to that occasion. If they are taken to a forest, then knowledge about the forest, life in the forest, how to live in the forest. There are lots of things to learn about the trees and animals in the area, how to survive. So there are lots of things. So always they take the disciples. And if they go to a friend's house, then there, while eating, while resting, always they have something pertinent, relevant for the occasion to teach. So he went with his disciples. The next chapter, next topic is very important. We don't have enough time to complete it. That is, Krishna, having said this, he went back to Dwaraka. The special reason. And Duryodhana and Arjuna alike went themselves to Krishna for help. So that is a very important topic, very interesting, and one of the most important moves, I should say, that determined the fate of the war. So we shall take that up next day. Today we end. Namaskaram.